Hello, my community of amazing practitioners. I'm just organizing my screens here. I have a lot of really cool stuff to share with you guys tonight. Give me a minute. All right, we're good. So we're talking about time management, and let me talk first about the irony of that. Um, even saying time management. First of all, if I haven't met you yet, my name is Dr. Jody Dinnerman. I am the founder and creator of all things Staffless Practice. This was my love child from the pandemic. And basically, I had to learn really fast how to get good at managing a practice without staff. And I did. And after I figured it out, the world changed overnight. And I started sharing with practitioners from all over the world. And here we are 4 books later and an entire online school and thousands of students, and it's been a really cool journey. And one of the most important pieces of that journey is organizing time. But here's the conundrum. Okay. The conundrum is that you can't organize time because time is energy, right? And it's not a real thing. So, and we could go down that rabbit hole, but let's just say for this training, for all intensive purposes, that we are going to say that we can organize time, we can manage time, we can put time in a bucket or a category, and we can say that's what we're going to do with it. That's where we're going in tonight's training. Here's why. The more I prepare to succeed with a goal, the more I set my intentions to get that. I have to take my gum out or my mom's going to yell at me. Okay. I really did just do that. The more I take time when things are quiet and plan for success for when things get crazy, because they always get crazy, right? The more I win and the more I get all of the things accomplished that I'm looking to get accomplished. I do a lot in this world, as many of you do too. We're parents, we're practitioners, we're caretakers, we're caregivers, we're care receivers, we're athletes, we're spouses, we're all of it. And it's really important that all of those roles that we play all get the energy signature or the time that they need, that they deserve. So, my hope is that tonight, with what I'm going to share with you, you're going to get how we can take something as simple as an Excel spreadsheet and create a little bit more organization for your world. Um, I'm also watching this on Facebook. So if you guys have specific questions for me, go ahead and dump them in where you're watching this live, and I'll be sure to get to your questions. And please say hi to me if you're watching me, because I get lonely in here. Okay, so in my practice, here's another thing I want you to understand. I run a wellness practice for families, and I'm not a pain-based clinic. So the way that I spend my time in my practice is going to look different from how you're spending your time. My system that I'm about to share with you works for all kinds of practices. It also works for all kinds of EHR programs. So one of the most common questions that we get is, do you have to use Jane app in order to use these systems? And the answer is no. Although we're big fans, it's not a requirement to apply what I'm about to teach you. Okay. No questions so far. All right. I also posted in another post on this in this group the freebie that goes with the training that I'm about to get into with you. Okay. So you're going to see I posted it 11 minutes ago on December 18th at 6:54. Um, you're going to see in the comments there, you can go to gostaffless.com/time. And that freebie that I gave you guys last week actually it's gonna include what I'm about to share with you. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Here we go. I first want to explain to you that wait, hold on. Whoa, where am I? There we go. Okay, I want to be here. I first want to explain to you that there are 12 steps to the program of Staffless Practice Success System. Time is step 3. Last week, we talked about a texting program. That was step 4. Tonight, we're talking about step 3. I want you to understand this because there are things that come before we're supposed to look at time, and there are things that come after we're supposed to look at time. The reason for that is because this has been what has been tried and true with hundreds of doctors that we've worked with, okay? The first thing you want to do is prepare for success. You want to know what your vision is. You want to know what your mission is. You want to know who you want to work with, why you want to work with them, and how you want to work with them. All of that is going to be in step 1, the preparation. How do you get out of overwhelm? What are your multitasking tools? How do you create a rock solid to-do list? That's all in step 1, preparing for success. Step 2 comes before time as well. And step 2 is preparing the physical space in the office to create what we call client help yourself areas. And if you're watching this in our Facebook group, you'll see that last week I actually did a tour of my office and I talked about the client help yourself areas so that you can just get a visual of how I do it. You're going to do it differently than how I do it because my practice is unique to me and your practice is unique to you. Make sense? Okay. So step 3 then is time. And that's what we're about to dive into. Okay. I want to say a couple of things. So when we start looking at time and the way that we're spending our time and the way that we're giving our time and the way that we're in exchange for our time, we want to do what's called a time study. We want to take a couple of days and we want to study what we're currently doing. So every nutrition coach that I've worked with, and I've worked with a few of them, just going to say, has had me start with doing a study or an intake of what I'm currently doing for a few days. The same is true at time. What are you currently doing with your time? Write down everything that you're doing for a few days and look at the patterns. What are you doing? You wake up. When do you check email? Is it all day? Is it certain hours? When do you relax? When do you connect with your partner? When do you connect with your kids? When do you clean the office? What are you doing and when are you doing it? And what are the patterns that you're seeing around time? That's the first part of time. Once you see those patterns, what's going to happen is to the surface will arise what we call time signatures, how you're spending your time in general. Usually, the categories around time signatures for wellness practitioners is something like diamond time, which is focusing on building the practice, focusing on marketing, focusing on connecting with what we call practice alliance leads. Okay. That's diamond time. The rule of thumb with diamond time is the building could be falling down around you and you wouldn't notice because you're so focused. It's when your sound on your phone goes off on vibrate. It's when you don't get alerts. It's when you say to your partner, honey, take over for the kids for the next 2 hours. I'm going into diamond time. That's diamond time. You might have patient visit hours. That's another type of time. You might have fun time. You might have nothing at all time. You might have workout time. You might have meal prep time. It depends on what you need for your world to continue to move forward, for your practice to continue to move forward. So once you've figured out your time signatures, then what you're going to do is you're going to start geeking out over all things time. Let me get the right screen up this time. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to share this with you again. This is actually in the Facebook group, but I'll also drop it in wherever you're watching this. You'll find this link. This is gostaffless.com/time. Okay. So the first page of this, you guys will see that there are several pages here. I gave you some examples. The first page of this time study, this is day 1, day 2, day 3. And all I want you to do is say, I woke up and I had breakfast and it took 0.5. I made calls and it took an hour. I checked email. and it took 0.5. Okay. And then once you've done 3 days of that, I gave you 3 days. You're going to go back and you're going to assign a per hour. Like, what would you pay somebody to do that activity for you? Let's say I took trash and cleaned floor. This is just an example, you guys. And I'm going to say total time was an hour, and I would pay somebody $20 an hour to do that. Okay. For 3 days, I want you to write down. I like writing this down, but you can certainly use this sheet to do this. Let me just get rid of these so I don't mess up the sheet. And with any of the sheets that I give you, you're going to go file, make a copy, because you're going to end up getting a template of it. You won't be able to type right into it. So just go file, make a copy, and then save with your name on it. So that's sheet number 1, and you'll end up seeing a pattern to it. Sheet number 2 is an example of a schedule. So the idea is Monday through Sunday, you're giving yourself time signatures. So client hours. The first thing you want to do is you want to put in the things that are non-negotiable. Like, where do you have to be during the week? And you want to put those things in. I like a colorful time structure. I think this is really pretty. I would probably want to like center everything because I get crazy about the stuff. So let me just go ahead and center it. And then you can do I gave you a blank 15-minute schedule so that you don't have to recreate the wheel. This is a 30-minute schedule. You can make a copy of it just by going here, duplicate, and I'll actually go ahead and rename this 30-minute schedule. So the idea is that, let me just take this and drag it down so that it's blank for you. There you go. The idea is that you have a calendar, a template, and then I like to actually print this out. So I might do something like Monday, you know what, I actually have it here. I might have me time from 8:30 to 9:30, Monday through Sunday. Don't touch me, don't bother me, don't text me, don't call me, leave me alone. That's my me time. These are the hours that I serve in my practice. This is just an example, you guys. This is my diamond time. Here's when I'm serving again, and here's when I'm off limits with my family. So this is an example of a time structure or a time map. I want you to have a time map for your personal life, and I want you to have a time map for inside of the office. And now we're going to get into talking about visit types. I also love the idea of you creating this for your team or your team doing this exercise. So again, your team can go to no, not instant access, time. There's a video of me talking about where this fits in, and then I'm also talking here about our instant access program, which is you can literally be in Staffless Practice Academy in the next 10 minutes by grabbing a seat to instant access. It's literally instant access to all of the tools that we offer at a fraction of the cost, and you get it for an entire year. So I'm talking about that. And then we go into the time study and everything that I just taught you. And there's a link to the template here. Okay, let's go into talking about, unless you guys have questions, let me just see if there are any questions. Not yet. Okay. All right, visit types. So if you do a time study for the time that you're in the office, so part of that, I would say 50% of the energy that goes towards organizing time inside of the office needs to be spent on taking a look at how you are offering your time to your practice members. Okay. So in my office for a new patient, we have a telehealth session. They don't come in before I meet with them online. I meet with them online. I make sure my practice is a fit for them. They come in if it is. I do an exam, I do my thing, and then I've got different visit types for different practice members, depending on what their needs are. Most of my visits are group adjustments because I see 6 people, 7 people at a time. But every once in a while, there's going to be somebody that wants to see me one-on-one. So I have to ask myself some really difficult questions around how do I want to spend my time in the office? What do I want to offer to my practice members? Because once you offer it, it's hard to take it back, right? When was the last time you took a look at what you're offering to your practice members and asked yourself the hard questions like, do I really want to still be offering my people a telehealth call? Do I want to just have them come to the office now? Do I do I want to do a report of findings and not charge for my time? Do I want my visit types to be 15 minutes or 20 minutes? These are the questions that you want to look at. I would say you guys set your calendar to look at them once every 6 months and ask these questions. Organize your time in the office just like you're organizing your time outside of the office, especially if you don't have staff with you. And again, just like I said earlier, if you do have staff with you, have them do this exercise too. What do they do when they get to the office? What do they do when they get back from lunch? What if do they take a lunch break? Do they leave 20 minutes after your last patient of the day? Or do they leave an hour after? Do they show up an hour before the first patient of the day and prep the office? And these are all questions that you can ask for yourself as well. Time's a tricky thing, you guys. If you create space for it, it will be filled. When the universe sees a vacuum, it fills it. It's just kind of, I think it's a law. I'm not totally positive. I'm having a Jody moment about that. However, with that being said, you want to make sure that you plan really significantly for time. So, a couple of takeaways. One, I urge you to do a time study and go to stafflesspractice.com. No, I'm sorry, go to gostaffless.com/time and do the time study. 2, remember that time is step 3 for a reason. There are 2 steps that come before it. If you do the time exercise, you're going to naturally see that you have to start asking some questions that are probably answered in step 1. Okay, you get it? It'll naturally return you to step 1. It'll naturally return you to step 2. And the third thing is let me know if you need help. I'm right here. You can see that me and my team, we're abundantly available to you because we really want you to succeed with this stuff. Okay, let me know if you have any questions and go make the world better with great care. I hope that was super, super helpful to you guys.